just know Jesus is the way. I just know Jesus is the truth. I just know Jesus is the life. I just know Jesus is my What makes you different from one another? What do you argue about who you follow? There is no man that you belong to. There's only one God that can claim you. I don't care if you speak.
How you guys doing? Jason A. Kuhn here, giving you a Fight the Deception with Real Perception Christian News Brief for October 23rd, 2013. We'll jump in here at Infowars.com, an article written by Paul Joseph Watson. SEAL veteran military leaders being asked if they will disarm Americans. Former Navy SEAL Ben Smith warns that the Obama administration is asking top brass in the military if they would be comfortable with disarming U.S. citizens. A litmus test that includes gauging whether they would be prepared to order NCOs to fire on Americans. Smith provoked headlines last week when he appeared on Fox News to assert that the federal government was trying to provoke veterans into violence as an excuse to implement martial law. Kind of reminds me of during the government shutdown when they were barricading the National War Memorial for the veterans. Speaking exclusively to the Alex Jones Show, Smith stated, going back to the beginning of this administration, I've had friends within the community talking about how they were brought in and questioned with people from more towards the top side, and the questioning where it was pointing was, do you feel comfortable disarming American citizens? Adding that this was one of the many funny things occurring within the military. When Smith was asked by radio host Alex Jones if this line of questioning included a litmus test, whereby military officers were asked if they would fire on U.S. citizens, he responded in the affirmative. Smith said the litmus test was related to the recent firing of top military commanders, Navy Vice Admiral Tim Giardina and Major General Michael Carey. Smith linked the premise to former Obama advisor Van Jones, who was forced to resign in September 2009 after his links with a Marxist organization were revealed. We'll stay here at Infowars.com, move on to another article by Paul Joseph Watson, Fox host. All hell could break loose on November 1st. As Infowars first reported on Monday, the DHS announced its intentions to hire a raft of new armed guards to prepare for public demonstrations and civil disturbances in upstate New York, adding that some of the guards would be posted outside IRS facilities. Covering the story on his Fox News show, Cavuto said November 1st could be a very, very iffy kind of day. This could be all hell breaks loose day, noting that the armed guards were not to protect government buildings from terrorist threats, but from American citizens, because on November 1st, the food stamp program is set to start decreasing the amount that is allocated to food stamp recipients, and they're worried that violence will ensue. Cavuto's concern that the cut in food stamp benefits could spark violence is legitimate given what happened when the EBT card system crashed for just hours earlier this month, prompting many riots and looting at several Walmart stores. As a scheduled cut in food stamp benefits, which most Americans are seemingly unaware of, threatens to cause unrest next month when families will be hit with a $36 per month reduction in credits. Let's move on. We'll stay here at Infowars.com, an article written by Anthony Gucciardi, Pre-Crime. TSA now spies on you 24/7, even before you fly. The draconian groping measures instituted by the TSA inside United States airports is about to be trumped by an even greater assault on our rights outside of the airport. In fact, the TSA's largest siege against the Bill of Rights involves the 24/7 tracking of citizens even before they enter the airport. Under a new security measure that the TSA has magically decided it has the authority to enact, it is expanding its screening of passengers to include the systematic use of private and government databases in order to obtain more information on passengers. What that means is that the TSA can now access your car registration information, your employment information, and much more. This means that TSA agents within 2 weeks of training, the same agents who are continually arrested for perverted acts like the harboring of child porn can now spy on you to even greater depths. But don't worry, the TSA says that they're only spying on you to help you keep you safe. It's all about security, but even the mainstream media is being forced to call out the TSA lies thanks to the alternative news acting as a wrecking ball to the entire fairy tale that the TSA is. The New York Times reveals, while the agency says that the goal is to streamline the security procedures for millions of passengers who pose no risk, the new measures give the government greater authority to use travelers' database for domestic airport screenings. Previously, that level of scrutiny applied only to individuals entering the United States. Let's move on to the SmokingGun.com. Florida woman, aged 19, arrested for water pistol attack on her boyfriend. A 19-year-old Florida woman was arrested last month for a misdemeanor domestic violence after she allegedly launched an unprovoked water pistol attack on her boyfriend. Police reported Giovanna Borges told cops that her beau said something to her that she did not like, so she took a water pistol and squirted him with water. During the ensuing confrontation, Borg added her boyfriend, whom she has dated for a year, dumped a container of water on her and struck her with a pillow. The pair also reportedly exchanged shoves. Upon investigation, Port St. Lucie Police Department officer concluded that Borg was the primary aggressor during the September 27th incident. As a result, she was arrested for squirting water on the victim to antagonize and agitate him against his wishes. Wow, there you go. Let's move on to the earlystartblogs.cnn.com. Experts are learning how to break into webcams and TV. Disturbing new revelations about personal computers and hackers. As CNN Money's Lori Segal reports, there is new evidence that those who want to spy on you are finding ways to do it by using the electronics around your home. Let's give this a listen.
We watch TV. In a world where we're all online all the time, can you really ever flip the switch?
We're looking actually at a live shot of a friend's house. It's not an individual we don't know, but it is a live shot of somebody's home, and there are many others out there.
Turns out the webcams inside your house can be turned on, even when you're not home. How rampant is this?
I would say many, if not more than half of the IP cameras, or at least have an issue where it doesn't prompt the user to change the default username and password, or it has a vulnerability where you can bypass security and get right into the camera.
It's not just your webcam. Any camera connected to the internet could be vulnerable. Here we're looking at a traffic camera.
That will automatically...
Kyle's a security researcher. His goal is to call attention to these problems.
Many times you can actually manipulate the camera themselves if you can actually get into the code where you can turn the camera, you can turn the LEDs on, you can turn the LEDs off.
Even children's laptops have been compromised.
You're looking at vendors that are putting these products to market without doing a lot of thorough research into security.
Sometimes the issue is the camera itself. Other times it's the router connected to the camera that has a flaw. The exploits Kyle was using haven't been fixed by the manufacturer.
Many of these newer attacks now can be done from anywhere around the world.
I certainly don't want someone turning on my...
From anywhere around the world. Let's move on. RT.com. Space cannon ready. Japan to shoot asteroid for samples in 2014 mission. A unique space cannon developed for Japan's Hayabusa 2 spacecraft has successfully test-fired on Earth in preparation for a 2014 mission. During its upcoming journey into space, the cannon will blast an asteroid and mine samples of its soil. The test took place in the Japanese prefecture of Gifu, paving the way for the Hayabusa 2 spacecraft to extract soil samples from the asteroid, the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency announced on Monday. During the mission of Hayabusa 2, scheduled to begin December 2014, the space probe will extract soil from inside the asteroid. In order to do this, it will be equipped with a collision device designed to shoot at the surface of the asteroid from a distance of 100 meters with metal shell ammunition moving at a speed of 2 kilometers per second. Wow, let's move on. NewsYahoo.com, the odd myth behind California's beach oarfish. The large oarfish, slender snake-like sea creatures, have washed ashore in California in the last 2 weeks. While their appearance may conjure thoughts of mythical sea serpents, another legend suggests near death could actually spell disaster. According to the Japanese lore and fishermen, the animals have close ties to earthquakes. In Japanese stories are to be believed, the aquatic giants, which usually live more than 3,000 feet below the surface and away from human eyes, come up to surface and beach themselves as a pre-quake warning bell. Case in point, according to several reports, in the months after an 8.8 magnitude quake in Chile in 2010 and a year before the giant March 2012 or 2011 tremor that rocked Japan, several oarfish called Messenger from the Sea God's Palace in Japanese were either beached or caught near the quake's epicenter off the coast of Honshu. Wow. Let's move on. DemocracyNow.org. Prisoners of profit. Despite widespread abuse, private juvenile jail firm expands empire. We look at a new major investigation into how Youth Services International, a private prison company that runs juvenile detention centers, is rapidly expanding its services despite a record of abuse and neglect over the past 25 years. Despite allegations that include the neglect and abuse of young prisoners and the bribing of public officials to win contracts, Youth Services International has expanded its contracts to operate juvenile prisons in several states. More than 40,000 boys and girls in 16 states have gone through these facilities in the past 2 decades. This comes as nearly 40% of all detained juveniles are now committed to private facilities in Florida. It is 100%. Wow. Florida is 100%. Let's move on. EndOfAmericanDream.com. The population control agenda is being relentlessly pushed in American schools. Do you want your kids to be taught that the earth has too many people and that they should only have they should have no more than 2 children for the good of the planet? Yes, I know that this sounds absolutely crazy, but this is actually the kind of propaganda that's being forced upon our young people all over America. The population control agenda is being relentlessly pushed in high school textbooks, in classroom instruction, and by outside organizations that are given constant access to our high school students. As you will see below, the #1 population control organization in the United States, Planned Parenthood, conducts nearly 900 presentations in high schools in the Los Angeles area every single year. Wow. And the population control propaganda gets even worse once our kids go off to college. I know, I spent 8 years in the classroom at U.S. public universities, and most parents would be absolutely horrified to learn what their children are being taught. Wow, let's move on. The RawSewerStory.com. Self-professed militant atheist brutally beats Ohio pastor. On Sunday, a self-professed militant atheist with a checkered criminal past attacked a pastor in a Northampton, Ohio church. According to Reverend Norman Hayes, he had approached the girlfriend of James Maxey and asked her if Maxey had been abusive. I questioned his girlfriend in the presence of if she felt safe. Hayes told WHIO. He was very, very upset that I even suggested he would hurt her. Then he turned around and hurt me very badly. According to the police report, Maxey broke Reverend Hayes' nose in 2 places, left 3 to 6 inch lacerations across his left and right eyes, and battered his right eye until it was swollen shut in a manner doctors worry may have caused brain bleeding. Last article of the day at thelibertarianrepublic.com. Pastor pulls gun and stops robbery. Wow, Evansville, Indiana, here in FEMA Region 5. When he's not saving souls, Pastor Carl Sanders is saving lives. He says he only wanted a Gatorade when he stopped at the Dollar General, but on this day he would be summoned to a higher calling. Sanders entered the store and witnessed a man robbing the store clerk with what appeared to be a gun wrapped in plastic. The thief spotted him, turned, and right at him. He was coming at me saying, "Get on the ground," said Sanders, but I couldn't see what he had. That's when I pulled my weapon and said, "No, you get on the ground." Sanders then ordered the suspect to get down and not to look at him. "I just told him this is out of love," said Sanders. There you go. There's a New World Order quote of the day. Bankers own the earth. Take it away from them, but leave them with the power to create credit, and with a flick of a pen they will create enough money to buy it back again. Do you want to be slaves of bankers and pay the cost of your own slavery? Then let the bankers control money and control credit. Sir Joseph Stamp, Director of Bank of England, 1940. I'll give you the proverb of the day, Proverbs 6:23, King James only. For the commandment is the lamp, and the law is the light, and the reproofs of instruction are the way of life. That's all I got for you today. Let me leave you off with the song I brought you in on. This song is by Disciple, I Just Know.
Jesus is my God. I know that Jesus is the way. I know that Jesus is the truth. I know that Jesus serve your name? Or do you serve mankind? Would you feel the same if they took it down your